I am Priscilla Galtney. I am the Support Our Students Chair with CCRA, California Court Reporters Association. And our guest speakers today, I don't see Lucy yet, but I already talked to her. I know she'll be here. Are Teresa Rust, she's a captioner. We have Alyssa Castillo Pacheco, freelancer. We have Lucy Gonzalez. If you're there, I don't see you yet. Sorry. Let me just make sure she's not. Okay, I don't see her. And then we have Diane. Oh, there you are. Sorry. There's Lucy. She's a court reporter, official court reporter in Contra Costa County. And we have Diana Van Dyke. She is with LA County Superior Court, another official. She will be the chat monitor. So she put in the chat a format that would work best for questions. So please read that before you put your question in the chat. It'll make things go smoothly, help things run smoothly. So, and I am a part-time official freelancer, and I'd love to caption one day. So, hey. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our first speaker, Teresa Rust. Actually, before I do that, I don't want to forget. I want to encourage California Court Reporters Association membership. Students, please sign up. If you, I'll enter the link in the chat box so that if you're interested, you can sign up. There's lots of perks, and you get to know all the good stuff and get discounts on things. So sign up, and then also sign up for a mentor. That's also a part of the website, and I will send that link. Our first speaker will be Teresa Rust. She is a captioner, and she'll tell you more about herself.
Okay. Good evening, you future reporters and captioners. Welcome to SNOW. Isn't that a cool title? I love that acronym. I told my husband I'm going to be one of the speakers at SNOW tonight. So I'm excited to be here this evening. My name is Teresa Rust. I'm a card captioner and freelance reporter. And can you hear me okay? Okay, very good. I'm an active member of CCRA, and I'm also on the NCRA's tech committee, and I used to be on the student teacher committee. I'm the past chair to the card and broadcast captioning committee, and I'm one of the founding members of that committee. Currently, I'm the secretary treasurer for CCRA. I've been working professionally for about 15 years. I started off doing captioning during the time I was trying to get my CSR license. And then after I did get my license, I realized I really love captioning. So I said to my husband, you know, I know we worked hard for me to get my license, but I really love captioning. He said, well, you know, you should do what you love. So I did that for quite a few years until one day I realized, you know, I worked so hard to get my license. I want to use it. So I told my girlfriend, who's a freelance reporter, that I wanted to start using my license. And she said, oh, you want to start doing depots? I said, yeah. So she called one of her agencies that called me the same day, and they started working me, and I've been doing it ever since. So I do both. Skip that part. So at first I would just do depots on Fridays, you know, as I just would make my schedule, because cart was my primary job. But after the pandemic, I really didn't plan to do both of them at the same time. But I gotta have a depot tomorrow. I had a cart job last night. And also I was a hearing reporter for the licensing board when I was going to school too. The way my day looks is my agencies, they'll either send me an email message or they will Skype me and ask me if I'm available. Like right now, while I'm with you guys, I'll get like a little message, a Skype will come up and say, Teresa, are you available for a blah, blah job today or tomorrow? And, you know, then I respond to it. So they use Skype. Some of them use emails. And just to let you know, in case you don't know, CART stands for communication, real-time, communication, access, real-time translation. And you probably know this, but I'll just say it for those who might not realize that there's two types of captioning. There's the cart captioning, and then there's the broadcast captioning, you know, the subtitles that you see on TV, that's broadcast captioning. So I only do cart. And I like to always give a disclaimer when I speak to people about cart. What you'll hear me say tonight is my experience. All of us have different experiences and we have different areas that we like the best. So what you hear is, talk to other people, get information from as many people as you can. I favor classroom captioning. Usually I have jobs that with universities and community colleges, and recently I've been doing a lot of city council meetings. And I hated those at first, but I realized after watching a couple of videos and talking to some other captioners, you have to develop a system when you do those. So now I really enjoy them. You learn so much about what other states and other cities are doing, because the agency that I work with, they have contracts all over the US. So I get a chance to sit in on council meetings. Okay, I get a chance to sit in on council meetings in New York, uh, Washington. I mean, it's just so interesting. You learn so much. So what do I love best about captioning? Is I love working with the students and the professors. I mean, you learn so much from them, and I wanted to be a teacher anyway, so it's just a perfect fit for me. I've done other areas of captioning and it was nice, it was okay, but I find that I like the classroom, the environment better. And not only that, you're helping someone and you're giving back. And I really enjoy that, because just like I had a dream to be a court reporter, the students, they have a dream of what they want to become. And I love the fact that I get to play a part of that. I've captioned classes like math, history, psychology, many of the sciences, chemistry. I've had unique classes like where my student was taking a photography class. I had students who were going to school to be preschool teachers. And just a few years ago, we had a student who wanted to be an esthetician, and she has her own salon in Seal Beach. And she told us, she said, I could never have done that without you guys. So, that's just priceless. It's a wonderful feeling. Let's see. And another thing I like about my job is I make my own schedule, so I can work as much as I want to. I can start a job at 6:30 in the morning that's in another state, and then have enough time to go out and do in-person work. So prior to the pandemic, I was doing both, but now I've been doing just mostly remote jobs. I have several favorite classes. One of them was a history class. And when I was growing up in school, I didn't care for history. I thought it was boring, but now I appreciate it. But this professor, it was a remote job and it started at 6:30 in the morning. They were in St. Louis. And I could tell, I couldn't see him, but I could see that he was so animated because I could hear his voice. And he was in the Vietnam War, and he knew history so well because I guess he taught the class for a long time that I don't think he used a book. So you can imagine, he was just speaking from his knowledge, and he spoke. It was a fast class, but I tell you, I enjoyed that class. It must have been during the spring or so, because I remember I would have my window open and I would be just writing and just laughing because he was just such a good teacher. And I always said to myself, I wanted to keep up with him. I mean, I learned so much that year, things in history that I didn't even know about. And let's see, and I like when you have a student who will let you know what grade they got out of a class. Like one of my students, she had this art class and it had a lot of Latin artists. And so that class was really tough. The professor had a vast vocabulary. Every day he would say something. We look at each other like, what's that? And so we would have to research it, on our phones. And she said one time, she said to us, I don't care what I get, what grade I get. I just want to pass it. I'll just get a C and be happy with it. And I told her, and being the encourager that I am, I said, no, you're smart. You can do better than that. So I said, always work towards an A. And she did it. She got an A. So that was really rewarding. Let's see. With captioning, we use different third-party programs like Rapid Caption, Stream Text, Skype, WebEx. But okay, well then I'm looking at the chat box. And then there's a program, I'm not sure if you've heard of it, it's called Text on Top. So when you're in person, you take the USB drive and you put it in your computer, and you can put it on their device, and then they get the streaming and they can sit anywhere in the classroom that they want. I really like that because when I first started captioning, I would sit right next to the students, and sometimes, they can be shy. And I felt like it didn't give them an opportunity to communicate with their classmates. So now, you can sit anywhere. And a lot of times when captioning, you don't always get the best seat in the house because all the rooms are different. Like we've had lecture halls and we might sit way at the top and our students at the bottom, that type of thing. So that's one of the reasons why I really like text on top. And let's see. Oh, and a lot of my colleagues, I have not done this yet, and probably, I don't know, we'll see what happens. But a lot of my colleagues have traveled to other states, other countries to do conferences. When I first started out, my husband's cousin works for NASA. And she's an engineer, and she found out I was doing captioning, and she's deaf in one ear. And she asked me when I go to Africa with her to be her captioner. She said, "You'll have the weekends free. NASA was going to pay for everything." Well, I just started and I was trying to get my license. So that wasn't really something that I wanted to do. But today, you have that thing where you said, I wish I would have, because I probably could have, trained on the job like we always do. With this, you have to, you can't be scared to do anything because we're learning something new every day. So that was one opportunity that I did miss, but I know a lot of my colleagues have traveled. So those are some of the opportunities that you can have with captioning. And I meant to set my timer, so I'm not sure how much time I have left, but got a few more. So Diane just waved at me and say, say, shut up or whatever. So another thing that we do as captioners, we like to get, well, it's good if you get prep material, but sometimes we don't always get it. And so if you do get prep material, you enter the words the night before, if you get the job a week before. If you don't know a word while you're captioning, we have a thing we call finger spelling. And it's not like in the legal field where you have your dashes. We will write it just like the way the word looks like. For example, if they said Teresa Russ, your keyboard is, or your dictionary is set up where you write capital T-E-R-E-S-A. It looks just like the word. But in the event that you may not, let's say you don't know how to spell entrepreneur. And so, you get as close as you possibly can, because of course, our consumers don't know how to read steno. So those are some of the tricks of the trade. Let's see. Generally we edit our notes, you get them nice and clean and pretty. You make sure there's no conflicts and make sure nothing sneaked in while you were writing. Like one time I was writing, I must have been trying to write partner and I accidentally wrote marijuana. And marijuana had nothing to do with the class. So, you want to look for little things like that because we're not perfect, right? And so I can have several jobs in a day, online and remote. But like I said, since the pandemic, I've been working mostly at home. But prior to that, I can have a job in the morning at home and go back in the evenings, come home, maybe have some lunch, take a break, get my notes out to the consumer. One year I had a job with in the evening, it was an automotive class, and that professor taught from 6 o'clock to 9:30. He loved what he did, what he does. He loved cars. And even though as hard as it was, I enjoyed it. I always feel fulfilled no matter how hard the job is. Another perk with captioning is that if you work for an agency or a school, if that's the only job you have with them, they have to pay you a 2-hour minimum. So you have one job with them and then you get paid for that next hour. And if the student say, they let you know they're not going to attend class that day, if it's under 24 hours, they still have to pay you. So if you're ambitious, because they do send the jobs through the email or Skype, you could take another job and still got paid for the other job. So, it can be very lucrative. Now, if you haven't seen what captioning looks like, there's a great YouTube video. It's called Communication, Access, Real-Time Translation, Card Services for Deaf and Hard of Hearing People. And I have the link if you want me to put it in the chat box. It does a nice job of showing what captioners do, and you get a chance to hear what the consumers say as well. And while I'm on that topic, If you're interested in captioning, be sure to go to CCRA's website. The captioning committee has put a lot of useful information on there. There's training opportunities, explains what captioning is. And let's see. Oh, and what's different about CART is that we generally don't interrupt during a job because we just don't interrupt. But each class is kind of different, so you can kind of feel your way. Sometimes you get the professor can be real friendly, and then maybe when they break out in groups, you can say, you know, what was that word, or what were you talking about? I didn't get all of it. But generally, while they're talking, we don't stop them and say, excuse me, could you slow down? Or excuse me, I didn't understand what you were saying. So we usually don't do that. And the ADA, American for Disabilities Act, I'm kind of jumping ahead, sorry about that. But videos have to be captioned. There was a time that we would try to write videos and it was just really difficult. So they have to be captioned. And what made me think of that, because there was one professor I had, just could not remember. He would get ready to show a video that wasn't captioned. I would kind of nudge the student. I said, you have rights, you have rights, you know. And so, you know, so that because they deserve that quality as well. And you know, it should be equal access. Like sometimes you might have a professor that might have a potty mouth, you know, nothing real vulgar, but, you know, say certain words, and they would walk by or something, they'll say, you wrote that? You know, don't write when I curse. And so I was like, no, equal access, right? So sometimes we have to educate them on what we do. So generally when I walk in a class, when I was in person, I would always introduce myself so they'll know why we're here. It's kind of like the judge, that's his courtroom. So the classroom, that's their classroom. So out of respect, I like to let them know who we are. Sometimes the school does a very good job of educating the professors about their deaf and hard of hearing students, about captioning, about ASL, American Sign Language. But there are times when some really don't know, and they'll, you know, they want to know why we're doing it, what we're going to do with the notes, things like that. So if you are interested, I'm wrapping it up. If you are interested in captioning, please, even though there are a lot of remote opportunities, consider going in person because it's such a rewarding experience. I might go back in person again someday, but I did love being on the college campus. I love talking and interacting with the students. And it's a rewarding experience. So, you know, it sounds really nice. Oh, you get to work home, you by yourself. But, you know, sometimes I kind of miss people. I mean, when my jobs are over, I pack up and run to 99-cent store just to get out the house and see some people. So, you know, keep that in mind that you still want to get some interaction with the consumers. And then you learn a lot about them. You network, you find out if there are other opportunities, other agencies who are hiring. And I just want to say a quick thing about deaf culture is that when you speak to a deaf person, look them eye to eye, make eye contact, speak normally. One thing, do not mimic what ASL looks like. I was getting ready to do it. Don't, like, for example, if a person is Japanese or of another culture, African, don't do that because that's an insult to them. It's like you're making fun of their culture. And like I said, make eye contact. And I manage my time with a calendar. I'm sure all of you, hopefully you're doing, I know the professionals are doing that, but you know, that's how I keep up with my schedule. So if a job is available, I have it on my calendar already, so I don't miss an opportunity. Because if I'm sitting around thinking, do I have a job? Let me look it up. I can miss an opportunity to work. And that's about it. And that's my life as a captioner. If there's any questions, are we doing questions and answers now or later?
So yeah, we're gonna do questions at the very end after all the speakers, and then we'll do it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Love it. You did an amazing job. Thank you.
You're quite welcome. I'll go on mute.
Okay, and then Alyssa, you're up next. And this is Alyssa. We went to school together. And yes, I serve on the committee. I'm on the board with Teresa, so we work together often. And then Lucy's our official, and I worked with her in Contra Costa. And Diana, we met at the convention, and we just chat and email all the time. So anyway, I know them all personally. Great, great, great people that you have here tonight. I'm so, thank you so much. So grateful. Okay, Alyssa.
Hi, everybody. It's exciting to see so many people on. And no pressure, but I would love to see these faces of these future reporters. So don't be shy, turn your cameras on if you want, but no pressure, it's fine. Oh, look at them, welcome. Oh, this is exciting. Hi, guys. Thank you. It feels like you're actually here now. I know these other reporters. I see them all the time. They're boring. I want to see you guys. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. So anyway, my name is Alyssa Pacheco. I'm a California and Washington certified stenographer. And as Priscilla mentioned, we went to reporting school together. So thank you, Priscilla and CCRA, for having me here tonight. I got licensed on November 18th, 2008. So I've been a reporter for 14 years, 2 months, 29 days, but nobody's counting. Who's counting? It's been amazing. As of those 14 years, 8 years I've been a freelancer and 6 years I was an official, but tonight I'm just going to focus on the benefits of freelancing. As a freelance reporter, I mostly report depositions at home on Zoom, which is great. But as Teresa mentioned, I do like going in person as well. For those who aren't familiar, a deposition is a proceeding before a trial where attorneys are asking a witness for any information that they might have pertaining to a case. I'm there to make that record of it so they can use that information to build their case, settle the case, or even use the transcript at trial and that testimony. I also report court. I go to court and do civil hearings, trials, family law proceedings, restraining order hearings. Talk about juicy stuff. It's great. It'll make you feel better about your life. Let me tell you. And one thing that really keeps me engaged and excited to work every day is being able to choose between depots in court, as well as other types of matters that we can report, like independent medical evaluations, public meetings, arbitrations. It's always something different. And if you have any questions about what any of those are, I'll be more than happy to explain them later on. So I think the one thing that I love most about being a freelance reporter is the freedom and the ability to spend my time how I want to. That is just absolutely priceless to me. On an average week, I work 3 to 5, or not work. On an average week, I'm on the record, an average of 3 to 5 days, which comes out to about 30 hours or less. It's rare that I'm on the record for 30 hours in a week. The rest of my time is spent editing transcripts and working on the administrative side of things because we do own our own business. So I'm doing billing and scheduling. And after all that's done, I get to do the normal life things. I take my daughter to school and am able to pick her up most days. I make it to all her events and her school activities. And most of the time I'm available if she has to call me from school because she's sick or something. I get to schedule around appointments, medical appointments, car maintenance, work done around the house, get my hair done, get a massage because we deserve it. Whether you're a reporter or not, you got to get massages. I can take vacations at any time without having to ask anyone for time off. I just don't take work. I'll make a note to myself in my calendar, keep the day off. Because we are so busy out here. That's why it's very exciting to see all you students or people interested in this profession. We're so busy. And so sometimes I do get reporter's guilt to where it's hard to take days off because I feel bad. I know how much we're needed right now. But let me tell you, this career should come with a warning because I'm honestly addicted to my job. I mean, it sounds silly, but I personally can't say I've ever met a reporter who says they hate their job. We report forever and ever until our bodies tell us that we can't anymore. And I just love to write on my machine and build my dictionary and keep improving my skills to become a better reporter. It's just fun to me. I don't know if that's weird. But sometimes we do need that mental and physical break, especially with this profession. And if I feel like that, then I just keep my work week light or take some days off. Another thing that I love about being a freelancer is the financial stability, AKA the money. I mean, why else do we work, right? So my husband and I, we're foodies, self-certified foodies. So We get to go try the new foods. We get to go to fancy restaurants sometimes if we want to, and don't have to worry about the cost. I can buy my daughter all what she needs and above and beyond that. I mentioned taking vacation time, and we get to do all the extra fun things on vacation and stay at nice places. If my friends ask if I want to do something, money isn't holding me back and causing me to miss out. I'm saving for my daughter's college and mine and my husband's retirement. And the one thing I'm most proud of because of this career was being able to buy my own house as a single mom and without help when I was just 23. And that's all thanks to being a court reporter. And I know times have changed. The market is crazy right now, but buying a home or real estate is 100% possible as a reporter if that's a goal of yours. You also have the pride of being a business owner. Not everyone gets to say that they own their own business, and it's really an invaluable thing to have. So some advice for you students: when you're practicing, focus on clean writing, accurate strokes. The speed will come along with that once you know your machine well and you know what you're writing. Also, self-affirmations are crucial, not just for school, but in life in general. Our brain is incredibly powerful. So one thing I would constantly tell myself when I was in reporting school was, I don't know when, I just know I will. I knew I'd finish. It would take some time and patience, but I knew I'd get there. And for testing, it's simple advice, but it's my best advice. Breathe. I noticed when I would test, even when I took the state licensing test, I would hold my breath, which would cause me to miss a bunch of words. And then I would get stuck in my own head because of the fact that I messed up, and I just keep losing words from there and the test would be gone. So in closing, I'm super passionate about this job, this amazing career. I really do just love it, and I could nerd out and talk to you for hours about it. So if you have any questions or need motivation, or honestly anything at all, I'm going to put my email address in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Alyssa. It's wonderful as well. So our next speaker is going to be Lucy Gonzalez. She's an official. And like I said, we worked together for 7 years in Contra Costa. She's the lead court reporter at that. So I'll let her take over. Unmute.
Okay, sorry about that. You know what? I need to put these on. I'm still in denial. I'm Lucy Gonzalez, and I've been an official court reporter since January 5th of 2001. I've been a court reporter for 22 years. I started doing depots right when I got my license, and I did it for 3 months, and I went straight to court after that. I like the depot world. I just felt my calling in court. I love working in Contra Costa Court. I've been there my whole career. I did leave Contra Costa for about 1.5 years, and I went to Solano Court because I wanted to be closer to my kids' school and preschool. And I liked it, but my place has always been Contra Costa. I have worked in family law, juvenile, criminal, and civil. I have reported death penalty cases, and which is big money because, as you know, I don't know if you learned in school, death penalties are daily. So we have to prepare the transcript and have it ready the next day. With death penalty cases, we share the case with another reporter. So we would be like, one reporter would report the morning half, and the second reporter report the second half. And we do it in 4 increments. So like I would report from 8 to 10, and then another reporter would come in from 10 to 12, and then I would come in from 1:30 to about 2:30, and then 2:30 to 4:30 would be the next reporter. So it really works out. But one of the benefits that I really, really enjoyed working as an official is our benefits are amazing. We not only do we there's days when we get sick, and of course we get sick pay. We also get 3 weeks of vacation. And hold on, I pulled this up. Okay, so we get 3 weeks of vacation per year. We get 12 days of sick leave. We also get paid for holidays, 13 fixed holiday pays. And we get 24 hours of floating holidays that we can use just like for vacation. We also have the benefit of getting our mileage paid for if we have to get sent to a different courtroom. Like, for instance, if your office is based in Martinez and you have to go to Richmond, or you would have to go to Pittsburgh, they will pay you, the courts will pay you for your mileage back and forth, which is a really good plus. And also our CSR license is, oh gosh, I think it went up to $225 right now a year. The courts, we will reimburse you for your CSR license. They also offer health benefits, dental, vision, life insurance. We also get deferred comp. Not only do we get our pension retirement, we also get deferred comp retirement money that you can put in, which is a big benefit. So I don't know if you know, our salaries are going to get, let me see what we have right here. It's $119,000 right now is our yearly salary at Contra Costa Courts. Now, we are the only court right now that offers an incentive. So if you have your CRR license, you get a 10% differential on top of that base salary. And if you are a registered professional reporter, you get 7.5% on top of that base salary. And if you take our readability test that we have at the court and you pass it, you get 5% on top of that base salary. So let me see. Yeah, 5% for the differential. And we also offer CART services. So if you have your CART certificate, you will be paid an extra $100 a day if you provide CART services. So let me see what else is there. And then if you are, let's see, possession of a, sorry, here we go. And then, okay, our transcripts. I know everyone wants to know how much we make on our transcripts. So for transcripts, we got a price increase. Right now, it is $2.75 per folio is what we charge. So I don't know if this makes sense to you. So let me just do the math for you. If you were to do a trial, let's see, you can easily do like $300 pages in one day. We'll start off with 300 pages. If you have 300 pages and you times that by 2.75, that's 825 folios. So the way we calculate it is if you have 1 defendant, 2 defendants, 3 defendants, 4 defendants, 5 defendants, the price goes up. So for a trial, and let's say you have just 1 defendant, you would charge an original and 2 copies. So that 825 folios times 1.53, because that's the going rate for an original and 2. This is only 1 defendant. You make 300 times 2.7, 300 times 2.75 times 1.53. You made $1,262 in that one day for the transcript. Now, the good thing about the courts is you bill the courts. So you're not waiting like a month for your check to come. You turn in your transcript, turn in your bill, and you get your check probably within a week or 2. And that's on top of your salary. So the benefits of working in court is I have the benefit of a check always being there, right when it's supposed to be there, every 2 weeks. I know my transcripts are coming. I have that stability of knowing that I'm not waiting for an attorney to pay me, or I'm not out there hounding a client for my money. So it's just, it's a big plus for me. I know when you work as a depot reporter, they always say, oh, flexibility, flexibility, flexibility. Honestly, I, as an official reporter, I haven't really had an issue with taking time off. I get 3 weeks of paid vacation, and I submit my request on when I need to take off, and I get it most of the time. Well, actually, no, all of the time I've gotten all of my vacations. I do have to say there are times when I have a medical appointment and it's like, oh, we're stuck, we're in a bind, we need you to cover, which is okay. I'll reschedule. But I would say maybe 90% I always going to my doctor's appointment. Those are the ones that are like the last minute doctor appointments. If it's a doctor appointment that I know is scheduled like a month from now, 2 months from now, or even 2 weeks, I know that I will get it. So it's it's a wonderful thing to be a part of a court, also be a part of a courtroom. You have your relationship with your judge, you have a relationship with the clerk, with the bailiff, you network with the attorneys there. It's like we're a family. So I'm not just, going from job to job and not knowing who I'm going to meet, who I'm going to interact with. And I really, really love the fact that I have a family, like my little department is my family. Let's see, I haven't even checked the chat. If anyone is asking any questions. Let's see.
Well,
I'll take care of that at the end, actually.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
Thanks, Lucy. No. Go ahead.
So I need to cut this short. So I'm the lead court reporter of Contra Costa. So if any of you are interested in coming to shadow or even to intern or see how it is in the courtroom, I will leave my email and you can email me and we can set up a date on when you want to come. I can show you the courthouse, introduce you to the judges and the other reporters and the staff, and just show you how wonderful it is to be an official court reporter. Do you?
Thank you so much, Lucy.
Thank you.
So much today. Love it, love it, love it. So hopefully the students are all having a great time right now, and I'm sure there's questions. And let me see here. Yeah, there are. So you have this, Diana?
I'm on it, Priscilla. Thank you so much. Kudos to the 3 speakers. You guys were amazing. It's great to hear what's going on in the other areas and other professions. It always blows my mind really quickly because I have a little bit of time. It blows my mind that we can all be going, we could have all gone to the same school at the same time. And yet every single one of us could be doing something different with this amazing skill. And it's one of those things that it's really hard to convey to people. My husband is a high school counselor, and he keeps like the flyer for Los Angeles up on his cork board. So when kids come in, they go like, wait, what is that number I see right there? And he goes, let me tell you about court reporting. So I have to give him a little kickback, but he's my husband, so he gets extra $10 in his wallet like every month for that if he brings me a court reporting student potential. So I'm going to go into the chat. We actually don't have too many, but I do want to go in there, and I just want to remind everybody, Teresa was great, and she put in the CART captioning video from YouTube. The link is there, so if that's something you're interested in, I know I am. I used to provide CART services as an official in Los Angeles before they changed the process in LA, and now they utilize, through our ADA offices, they utilize a private company. But definitely take a look at that. Teresa made it sound incredibly interesting and fulfilling. And it was, I know when I got to do it, the probably dozen times or so over the years I got to do it, it was really, really fulfilling, even when it was for a juror and the juror didn't want to be there. So I'm just going to remind everybody, if you're on, please make sure you have yourself muted unless you're called on to speak. So Teresa, this first question is for you, and it was actually for me because I'm super curious, and hopefully this helps some of our students. And that is, how do you apply for and find work as a CART or captioner? So when you first started out, how did you go out and find and introduce yourself to agencies? How does that work?
Okay, well, in my situation, I had a classmate who had just finished school and she had been doing CART as a student, which back then I didn't even know what that was. But I went to a little party and she was there and she said the school that she was working with wasn't going to use agencies anymore and they were going to have their own program. So she invited me to come. She told the school about me and they brought me on. I took a little test and that's how I found out about my first job. And my first job was a geology class. And so then after that, I would Google different like captioning. I would just Google captioning jobs and I would get, some listings. And then I found some on NCRA's website. That's how I got another agency. And then a lot of it was networking and word of mouth. That's the reason why I said it's good to go out, because a couple of jobs or agencies that I worked for, I wouldn't have never known if I was staying home. Like somebody might say, oh, I'm going to Cal State Dominguez. Oh, hi, who do you work for over there? Oh, I'm working with such and such an agency. Oh, okay, do you think they're hiring? Then they give you the information, you take it from there. So networking and Googling.
That is great. Thank you so much. I was super curious.
You're quite welcome.
So the next question is from Janice. I'm going to read the question and then if it needs to go to one of the speakers, I can do that. But Janice asked, for depots, what is the going rate for an original and original +1 and original +2? So first I'm going to explain, if you're looking at the chat, for our students, when you see that letter O or O plus the 1 afterwards, it might be self-explanatory, but listen, I didn't know what that meant when I was in court reporting school. So forgive me, I'm not talking down to anybody. I'm just going to explain it as if you don't know. And it's not because I think you don't know. It might be that you just haven't got there yet in school. But that O is for that suite original. And then, of course, every number after that is the number of copies after. And then the rest of the question is appearance fee, half day or whole day. So Janice, I wanted to read your question because I know it's probably something that a lot of people want to know about. But because we're talking depots specifically, we have to be very, very careful. So we can't really talk about actual rates because we could violate antitrust laws and we need to be extremely careful. I'm not going to leave you hanging though. What I'd like to do is, if any of our freelance reporters are comfortable with it, I would ask if they would be willing to share what their annual gross earnings were. If they are, no pressure. You do not have to share that information if you don't want to. But if you do want and need to, and I actually strongly recommend you reach out to a mentor in the area that you want to work in. So it's freelance, CART captioning, anything else that we can do with this amazing skill, please reach out and talk to people one-on-one. And you're going to get a lot of people that are going to be really uncomfortable, as they should be, because you got to be really careful about talking about rates in the state of California and nationally. But please reach out and talk to people individually and ask them to, if they're comfortable sharing what their experience is with their earnings. Alyssa, I'm going to pick on you because you are a freelancer. If you don't want to answer that question, that's totally okay. But do you mind?
I don't mind because it's super, super exciting. And I hope it's motivational for at least one person here. I won't give the exact number, but I made over 200,000 last year and I could have worked more. So I'll put it that way.
That's excellent. Thank you. Teresa, you're our freelancer in CART and captioning. Please feel free to decline to answer the question because it is personal for some people. If you're willing to share, that's great too.
Well, mine wasn't 200, but I can make from 35 to 40.
Very good. Okay, excellent. So hopefully, Janice, that's helpful for you. I know it wasn't exactly answering your question, and I hopefully explained to you why, but definitely please reach out because there are people out there who want to be there for our new professionals and help guide you. I didn't have that in 1995 when I first started reporting. I had no clue what I was doing for a very long time. So please, please reach out because there are lots of our reporters out there, professionals that are willing to hold out their hand and take you with them and help guide you so that you're not just walking in the dark.
Diana, do you mind?
Yes.
Do you mind if I just piggyback off of your explanation of the original and one and all that? Because just like you, I had no idea what that meant.
Sure.
So these are terms of the trade and we hear them over and over again, but what actually does it mean? So the original is sealed in an envelope, and that one's kind of the special one. It's the one that goes to the judge if the case ends up going to trial, and the judge actually unseals it there in court, and that's the one that he or she looks at, and the copies are the ones that the attorneys get to use. So that's what that original and copies mean.
That's awesome, Alyssa. And I'll piggyback, or actually I see that, go ahead, Priscilla, I see you unmuted yourself.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna, I know we mentioned the salaries of the two, but officialship, I could just speak to this unless you want to, Diana. But I think our salary is like 116 in Sacramento, but I'm gonna go add transcripts of that, benefits and everything. It's probably in the 200s, I would think. I tried calculating it all, and I think that's also 200,000. And maybe Diana might have an idea for LA County with everything, all inclusive vacation, everything included. So I really believe you need to go into every single field and see where you're gonna, what you want to do, what fits you best. And that's all I was gonna throw in there.
That's awesome. Thank you. And I'll talk about LA more specifically when I get to the incentives after we do the questions. I wanted to do the questions first because, hey, that's why you guys are here, right? You're curious about all that we do. So F, for the topic of court and depot, how remote friendly is California work? Is the bulk of the work in y'all's workplace only in person? Is full-time California remote work rare? So I'll speak to court specifically because the answers are extremely different. So if you are an official employee in court, actually in the state of California, if you are doing any in-court work, so if you're working in court, even as a freelancer, you are either an official where you're an employee of the court, or you are an official pro tem. So that means you're a freelancer who's been purchased, such a terrible way to say it, who has been hired by one of the attorneys, one of the sides, or both, if they're amenable with each other, and you are there to provide that record. When you do that, when you act in that capacity in a courtroom setting, you are the official pro tem, and you then act as an official would in the courtrooms where the court provides an official. When you act in that capacity, I will say that your page rates are ruled by the state of California because you're providing those services as an official pro tem. So that your page rate would be exactly what you would be as an official in those same courtrooms. But you cannot, as an official in the state of California, report remotely. Okay. Now, if you're a freelancer, there are limited proceedings up until, I believe it's June of this year, or maybe it's till 2026. I wasn't expecting this question, can you tell? Where you can provide remote reporting services for a limited period of time for very limited proceedings. You are not allowed to provide remote reporting for testimonial proceedings, or I believe evidentiary. So forgive me, I'm happy to provide a little bit more of a detailed answer and actually copy paste the law for you. That is in flux right now. We are definitely in conversations with regard to the legislature about what does remote look like in the future. So that's today. It is February 25th, 2023 at 7:49 p.m. That's my answer for official. I'm going to bounce it to Alyssa again so she can answer specifically for deposition work.
So the only part I'm unclear on is the full-time term. You can definitely find work and report 40 hours a week if that's what you want to do. That's not really how it works. I'm sorry, I'm hesitating. We never know exactly how long a job is going to go. So that's why I can't answer the full-time specifically, but your days are full as a freelancer. You're either on the record, you're taking care of your business. So the billing, the scheduling, the back and forths of transcript orders, or you're editing transcripts. So you are definitely working full time. I mentioned earlier that I work on average, or I'm on the record on average 3 to 5 days a week. So on those couple of off days, when people ask me, did you work today? I work every day. I mean, I'm on my computer every day answering emails or working on transcripts. So, but I know that they mean if I actually went to work. No one understands unless it's another reporter you're talking to. Those are the only people, are my reporter friends, that I can commiserate with and who I know truly get it. So even my husband, yeah, don't get me started. Like, what'd you do today? I worked. I was at home, but I worked, I promise. So you're working full time, and there is a ton of remote work right now. I mostly still do remote work, not because I refuse to go in person. Some reporters won't anymore. They're close to retirement, or they're just not comfortable because of COVID, or they just don't want to. It's amazing being able to work at home. I am willing to go in person, but I'd say 90% of my work is still remote.
Thank you, Alyssa. And then I also, yes, Teresa, how did you know I was going to call on you next? Teresa is our CART captioner, and she's also freelance. So I definitely was interested in your answer to that question as well, Teresa.
Well, if you don't mind, I just wanted to say that what captioners are paid varies, depends on it depends on who you work for, how much you work, because we don't get paid for transcript. So just don't go by what I'm saying, talk to other captioners, because we all just do different things. I know captioners that do a lot of meetings, and they make a lot during the meetings if they do a lot of them. So because if you're interested in captioning, I don't want to turn you off. So still look into it and talk to other people. That's what I wanted to say. I'm content.
Yes, no, absolutely. Of course, each one of us, this is anecdotal, right? This is our individual experience.
Yeah.
And overarching all of these specific questions are going to be the encouragement to reach out. I know Teresa said that. I want to highlight that what she said is please reach out. And I know it's hard for our introverts. If you can't tell, I'm not one of them, but I have lots of lovely people in my life that are. And so I try to hear them and understand their needs and their desires, and not needing to be around groups of people all the time and speaking on camera. But please try to reach out, even if it's just one or two other people that are in the individual industry that you're interested in, and then reach out to somebody that's not, because you never know what you're going to learn about something you don't know about yet, even, having talked to us. So, okay, I know we're getting close, and I don't want to cut my own self off when we talk about the incentives. So the next question is Veronica. In court, is it easier in bigger counties to only work in criminal courtrooms as opposed to family, civil, juvenile? Criminal is my calling, but I live in a small California county that has reporters do everything. So this is where I'm going to encourage you. I know I was gonna pass it off to Lucy, but I'm gonna try to actually keep this more general, because Lucy and I both are officials, but Lucy works in Contra Costa, which is much smaller than Los Angeles. So Lucy's answer is going to be different than my answer for LA. And what I'm going to encourage is if Lucy is willing to offer up a contact where you can reach out to Lucy or even Priscilla, or reach out to, and this is going to answer another question later on, is reach out directly to CCRA. We have a huge listserv where there are a bunch of us reporters across the state. And if somebody says, hey, I've got a reporter that's in Contra Costa and she's looking to shadow an official, or she's got questions, she just wants to ask questions, he or she just wants to ask questions, is somebody willing to talk to this person? I would email that massive listserv of people and get somebody's name, and CCRA can make that connection for you. So please reach out to CCRA, and they would probably be able to get you in contact with an official that's in your area if you are looking to stay in that smaller county. I didn't want to just focus on one or the other because it's totally different. And honestly, to talk about how LA does it, where we have over 300 court reporters employed right now. When we're full, we have over 430 employed full-time court reporters. So we're a bit of a behemoth and a little bit of its own little animal, sometimes almost exactly an animal. So in court, where can we go to find out about shadowing opportunities? I just answered that as well. You can reach out to CCRA. For Los Angeles, I'll put our little plug, and I'll let Lucy put a plug in for Contra Costa. For Los Angeles, we have an association that represents all of the employees that are court reporter employees for LA. It's called Los Angeles County Court Reporters Association. The acronym is LACC CCRA. We actually have a student and career committee outreach, but at least 200 of our 300 plus reporters that are employees would probably be willing to have you come sit with them depending on where you live, but that's for LA. I'm sure you're going to want to go somewhere that is near to you. So again, please reach out. Lucy, did you want to talk about shadowing opportunities in Contra Costa?
Yes. Am I unmuted? Yes. I just put, I don't know if you saw my email. You can email me and let me know whenever you want to shadow. I know I work in criminal court right now, so I'm doing trials. So, but there are opportunities if you'd like to see juvenile and in family law. Civil, we have depot reporters that come in and report that. So that won't be an option right now. But I did want to touch on something. We don't work in court all day. I know people think, oh my gosh, 8 hours a day, how am I going to do transcripts and work in court? We're not on the record all day long. And that's what's nice about court. We just report when we have a trial or if we have a motion, and we don't have to transcribe the transcript unless it is ordered or it's something that we have to turn in like an appeal, like a criminal trial. So we do have a lot of downtime in court, which is really nice. And then
I'll second that. I will
Yeah.
definitely second that for sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to go through because I know I have about 3 minutes before I have my little section, and then I don't know how Priscilla would like to handle the rest of the questions. But if we have another question for depots, Alyssa, Janice says, if you're able to answer this somewhat concisely for us, that's not a commentary on how you were answering before. It's just looking at the clock. Depots from Janice, how do you get the exhibit? If you are on Zoom for the depot, where is the location that shows up on the cover page? Those are great questions.
Yes. So the location on the cover page, we literally put that it's a remote proceeding, a remote video conference. And then there's a second page with all the appearance, which lists all the attorneys and their information. And on there, I put everyone appeared by Zoom or whatever the platform is. And the first question, how do we get exhibits? Sometimes we don't, and it's great. But when they're good attorneys and they do what they're supposed to do, they email them to us or they place them in the chat and we download them from there.
That is super enlightening. Thank you. I know that there's like technology is like burst on the scene with remote appearances. And I know there's specific platforms that you can utilize. I'm very good friends with the twins, Whitney and Cameron. They have a platform that they teach their reporters to work on, and the attorneys apparently love it. So that was really enlightening. Thank you, Alyssa. So Stephanie asked, and this is kind of for all of us except Teresa. I'm sorry, Teresa, but this, as you said, you answered this question already for us with your genre of professional area. So how do you communicate with attorneys who share copies of the transcript? How do you avoid having issues with this? So I'll answer as an official and my anecdotal experience, and that is when I send out a cost and readiness estimate, when somebody has asked me, and I'll just remind everybody, oh, never mind. When I get a transcript request, I respond with what I have termed a cost of readiness estimate. It has the options for how quickly they might want to get their transcripts, whether they want the original in 1 or original in 2, do they want paper copies or electronic, and how quickly do they want it. And I give them prices for each one of the options that I offer. And then I also, as my footer, there is a California government code section that actually explicitly requires that they are not allowed to, no court, party, or person is allowed to share a copy of the transcript. So as you become a professional, you will definitely know that. You're going to learn that government code section. There's some little nuances to that I won't get into tonight. But when I've had attorneys mention something to me about sharing, or I've had like a reporter ask me for a transcript that was in New York, I actually tell them, I'm happy to provide a transcript for you. Do you understand that this is a limitation? Meaning you can't copy paste my transcript into your blog. Do you agree to abide by this limitation? It's not honest. I can't not provide the transcript. I'm obligated by California law to provide the transcript, but they don't know that. So I then say, hey, I'm happy to provide this transcript for you. Are you aware of this limitation and do you agree to it? And they never say, no, I'm not going to, I'm going to, splash it all over my blog. Of course, I absolutely will. And that sort of, heads it off at the pass. It's going to happen when we if you're parents out there, when you have your babies and they grow up and they get their driver's licenses and they go out into the world, you do everything you can to make sure they are as safe as possible and secure. But once they are out there, they are out there. And so that's how I talk about my transcripts. You can't stop people from doing bad, wrong things. You can only just, how do I say this without sounding like I'm preaching? You can't control what other people do. You can only control how you respond. Okay, so your best is to stay professional, stay clear, and know the law, and be ready to talk about the law to them when it comes to that time. Don't let them get to you. Never get in an argument with people who argue for a living. Okay, do not argue with the attorneys. They get paid to do it. Don't get in that gray rocket. Here's the law. Here's what you know is the wrong thing. I've literally had an attorney say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. My law clerk sent that. How much do I owe you for a copy? So you just never know. Any of our other folks who would like to talk about that really quickly before I move on to the next question?
I think Lucy wanted to mention one of the things about officialship.
Well, I was going to touch on that. The judge usually backs us up with that. Right on it. They're like, no, there's a code section for that. You need to pay my court reporter, and they will. And I've had that happen. Actually, last month that happened. A clerk called me and said, oh, by the way, they try to make a copy of your transcript. And we right away told them, no, you can't do that. You need to call the court reporter. This is her number. This is her name. And you need to order the transcript. And they actually continued the date so the person can order the transcript and have it ready for the next case. So
when our judges have our backs.
Yes.
So nice. I'm sorry, I cut you off, Lucy. Was there something else you wanted to say?
Priscilla wanted me to talk briefly about retirement. I do have a friend who just retired. She was a court reporter for about 30 years. And she is living the life right now. I mean, she's getting like 90% of her salary, and in a pension check. She gets her deferred comp, and she also gets her pension. Now, I had lunch with her the other day, and I asked her how much. Is she enjoying the benefits? She said, Lucy, I don't even have to touch my deferred comp. I am living off my pension right now and off of my Social Security. She said, this profession, you don't even have to worry about it. You did the right thing going to court, starting and off with your deferred comp and putting as much money as you can into it. So there's a nice little benefit, a nice little pot of gold after this career.
That's awesome. I'm going to skip the question about the 300 pages, Ruby, but I'm not going to forget it. I did want to address Veronica. Veronica, because your question is so specific, I'll read it for everybody else who might be on the phone. Veronica asked for court. I have contacts in my county, Tehama, but I want to know how far I need to drive to work only in the criminal field. I'm way far Northern California. Please, 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 because your question is so specific to your area, I'm going to ask that you reach out to an official that's in that area. If you don't know, I know you said you have contacts in the county, but reach out to CCRA and say, here's where I live. Do you have an official or some officials that I can speak to answer this question for me? It's really difficult because our court systems, although we're all in the same state, you guys all know we live in this big, beautiful state. Each court system is different. So I'm not sure that even with our two officials on the panel right now that we'd be able to answer your question thoroughly. So that's going to be my suggestion to you. Priscilla, do you have any other guidance for Veronica with regard to a specific question for Tehama?
Yeah, will you please email me? I put it in the chat. As soon as you email me, I will get back to you within a day.
Awesome. Thank you. So for Lucy and Diana, how does a reporter have time to edit a transcript that's 300 pages long and still work an 8-hour day, Monday through Friday? She gave us some great anecdotal information about herself. I'm going to tell you a 300-page day in a courtroom is very unusual. If you are doing 300-page days as an official, it is it is unusual, and that is going to burn you out. But so I would say on my heaviest day, I'm in a long cause felony trial court. So when we are in trial, we generally do trials for quite long. I've done 6 weeks, 8 weeks, a couple months. My judge orders daily transcripts starting from testimony to the end, testimony to testimony. So no opening statements, no closing arguments, no jury selection is ordered as a daily. And then the appeal is something different. But I swear by, love, and pay bonuses to my scopists. When you are at that point, you will not be doing 300-page days in court. And again, I'm assuming this is court because it's for Lucy and I. My heaviest day was approximately 230 pages, and that was all testimony, right? So you guys know you're not going to be doing arguments. We all know literary and jury charge is more dense. You're not going to be doing 220 pages of literary every single day or literary type material or argument, but you might do a 300-page Q&A day, but it's Q&A, right? You're not doing border to border. You're not doing margin to margin stuff. So that doesn't mean you're not going to have some heavy days. They're going to be great cha-ching money-making days for you, but cultivate relationships with scopists and proofers and rely on them. They are worth their weight in gold, not only in money, but in the saving of your body. Lucy, is there anything else you would like to add to that?
No, I agree with you.
Okay.
I the most I did was probably 250, but you can do 300 if it's just Q&A.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're not always in trial in court, right? You're not going to necessarily have trial days 5 days a week, 12 months a year, 52 weeks a year. You're going to have ebbs and flows, but nevertheless, I still strongly encourage you to cultivate relationships with your scopists and proofers. Brand new baby reporters, I use baby with affection. You're our babies. We love you. We want to help you. Please do not start using a scopist right away. You need to be looking at your own work and seeing how you write and perfecting that writing constantly. Those of us who've been working for a couple decades, we also need to continue perfecting our writing and doing better and better and better always. Court, when I was, go ahead, Priscilla.
Time management, when you get that downtime in court, work on transcripts. Don't be shopping on Amazon.
Do both, just like work and then maybe buy something, and then do work and maybe buy something. I'm in trouble with Amazon right now in my family. I got it talking to by my husband and my daughter today, so it's a sort of
I have to say something, Priscilla. You know, we shop on Amazon when they pause in court for like.
Lucy, don't tell our secrets. You gotta wait until they're hired. Those are secrets, but I know our officials do that too. When I was a reporter, this is by Janice for court. When I was a reporter in Marin, if an attorney ordered a transcript, I would send the other side a letter of that fact. And if they wanted a copy, XXX is the price. It brought in more money. Not only is that really good advice, we have a legal obligation as professionals. You guys, we are obligated, and we are obviously governed by the Business and Professions Code as well. And you have an obligation to let all parties know when services have been requested, and you make those services available to everybody involved. So that doesn't mean, hey, you have to give them a price. I have a copy and paste that I put into an email whenever a transcript is ordered and they've paid for it. Yes, I get paid for it before I produce it when it's a private order. I send an email to all of the parties. They're all copied on the same one. And it says, pursuant to X code, you are notified that a transcript has been ordered for this proceeding. If it's an expedited transcript, I let them know it's expedited, and there are notices. If they never contact me again, that's fine. I've done my job. I've met my professional duty by sending that email. So it's a really great advice by Janice. Ruby, for court, do you get requests for rough drafts? Do you ever say no? Are you obligated to always say yes? I'm going to answer the last question first. There is absolutely zero obligation in the state of California for certified court reporters in California to provide a rough draft. Zero. You are never obligated to provide a rough draft transcript of anything you have done ever, period. So put that out of your mind. You might get pressured. You might have an agency or a judge or somebody tell you, hey, I want this. Can't you just do a rough? I could, but I'm not gonna. Or I could, but I'm gonna need 24 hours. Or I could, here you go. Oh, by the way, it's gonna be X number of dollars, because that is a value added service. If they wanted it, it means it's gonna add value to them, which means it should add value to you too. And by the way, you're the one that worked your butt off to make that transcript beautiful. I know, Alyssa, you probably do amazing stuff like this. Alyssa busted her butt to have beautiful real time for herself. If the attorneys want to see her beautiful real time, they can pay to see her beautiful real time. So that's a value added service. So make sure you're charging for it, but you're not obligated to provide it, whether they ask for it or not. This is a hard one because maybe in some courts they do or they don't. Our court does not have, in Los Angeles, there's no mechanism right now for a court reporter to provide a judge or a court-ordered rough draft. So when a judge asks me, it's very personal. If it's like 2 pages and it's a judge I know and they haven't been a jerk to me, I'm going to probably go ahead and provide it because I get paid extra for providing real-time services to the bench. If they want it and they want it sooner than the 15 or the 30 days for a regular turnaround for a court order transcript. This literally happened to me this week, you guys. I contacted the clerk and I said, hey, if the judge wants this sooner than the 30 days, can you please ask him to order it as a daily? And he did. He ordered it as a daily, which means I got paid extra on the transcript. And the way LA does it is we get an additional half day per diem if that daily transcript is over 12 pages. Wait, over 10 pages. It's very long. Yes, please.
I think it's per county too. I think every county is different on the rough draft rule. Like I already know our family law, they were doing it and it just came up today. We're no longer going to provide real-time drafts because there was a big old mess up. So no more. And I think we're getting close to time. So if there's any more questions in the chat, we'll have to maybe email me personally or one of the other ones. I sent a whole list, and I know Diana's going to talk about incentives that were just recently negotiated upon in LA, and hopefully they have started the ball rolling, and all these other counties are going to start implementing as well. So
yeah, awesome. So this is a fun part, you guys. I get to talk about LA specifically. We've worked really, really hard for these incentives. If you are on any kind of social media whatsoever, you might have seen these. If you have ever had an interest in coming to court and coming to LA, please, now is the time to do it. The first one I'm going to talk about is we have a $20,000 signing bonus. If you come to Los Angeles and you agree to work full time, the court is offering a $20,000 signing bonus. Your first pay period is half of that. You get $10,000 right off the bat within your first pay period. You get another $5,000 at your 1-year anniversary and the last $5,000 at your 2-year anniversary. If you come to the court and you agree to work daily as needed or a 3/5 court reporter, so part-time, that's prorated by 50%. I'm going to also talk to you about our student loan and equipment allowance. This is for all new hires. You do not have to have just finished school to take advantage of this. You will have been a new hire, and these incentives are good through the end of June of this year. We're hoping that we're going to secure another year of incentive money, but so this is for right now. Our student loan and equipment allowance incentive for Los Angeles Superior Court is up to $27,500. Yes, this is on top of that $20,000 signing bonus. This is in addition to $7,500 initial payment after your first pay period, and then $5,000 1 year, $5,000 2 year, $5,000 3 year, and $5,000 4 year. There's some stipulations there or requirements you need to, in order to get the money for your school loan, you have to have an active school loan in order to take advantage of those monies, but those are for our new reporters. One of the other things that we negotiated for that I'm over the moon about is in Los Angeles, you are either a regularly assigned reporter, that means you're assigned one-on-one, one reporter to one judge, and you are going to that courtroom every day unless your courtroom is dark and you are not on vacation. If you are not regularly assigned, you are what we call a regionally assigned floater. If you are a regionally assigned floater in Los Angeles, you will receive a 5% pay period bonus, 5% on top of your salary. Let me just scoot back just a little bit, Los Angeles, we actually do have real-time incentives. We have every reporter who applies for Los Angeles, you're asked at the beginning application process, are you willing to provide real-time services to the bench? Your answer is going to be yes if you want to work for LA. If you come work for LA, I will likely be the person that you talk to for your union orientation. And I'm going to answer that question is, do I have to actually provide real-time every single day? I'm going to answer that question for you when you come be my coworker, which I hope you are if you're considering it. If I totally lost my train of thought, I'm talking to you guys about how I want you to be my coworker because I get so excited. It makes me a little bit dizzy. So 5% bonus. Oh, real-time. If you become real-time certified, and that is in this next thing I'm going to talk about is not an incentive, it's actually part of our contract with the court, so this does not go away. If you are real-time certified, and that means if you have either the federal real-time test, the CCRA real-time certification, the DRA real-time certification, or the NCRA real-time certification, our court accepts all four, you will get an additional 5.5% bonus on top of your salary. Here's the last thing I want to leave you with, in addition to a couple other things we have. Please contact me if you are curious, you want to come shadow any of our reporters in LA. I'm going to put my email address in. Did you already put it in there? I think maybe it's not in there. I'll put it in there. In Los Angeles, we did reach out and we talked to our union money guy and we said, hey, we've got all these benefits, all those wonderful things that Lucy talked about. Los Angeles has those same things. We have 2 different kinds of retirement. We have the vacation, we have all the things, right? All of our benefits for Los Angeles before our recent 2% bonus kicked, our 2% raise kicked in. We just got a 2% raise per our contract. Before that kicked in, we asked them to calculate what does the salary of a full-time court reporter employee if they had the real-time bonus, they had the retirement, all of that stuff, and it's over $184,000 a year. That does not include transcripts. You could go to work and sit in a courtroom and never produce a transcript for a year, and your benefits would be at the amount of $184,000 without touching a transcript. Okay, so I just want to put that out there. That's not unusual for court. I know courts are kind of, there's different variations of our salaries, but that's not unusual for a court as an official. And I just want it, before I go, I want to highlight one more thing that Lucy said. My day today was I got into work at about, I go in early because I like to get stuff done when it's quiet in the courtroom or in my office. I was there about 7:45. I went in my courtroom, I got set up. The defendants in my trial were not ready to go. One of the attorneys was really late, got totally in trouble with the judge. I did not actually write on my machine, right on my writer, until approximately 10:30 in the morning. We were done by 11:30, and I was not on the record the whole rest of the day. I still got paid an entire full day of salary, and I had other transcripts that I worked on and turned in today from previous days. That is an example of a single snapshot of a day. I've also worked daily trials where I'm there at, I go in super early because I need to print up the previous day's transcript. I'm there at 6:30 in the morning. I print up the previous day's transcript. I put a cover on it. I walk it downstairs to the clerk's office, and then I'm on the record probably about 9 a.m. We take a break at 10:30. We break at noon to 1:30 for lunch. In LA, our lunch is an hour and a half as per our union negotiated contract as employees. We're back on the record at 1:30. My judge takes a break at 3 for about 15 minutes, and then we're on the record until about 4 p.m. And then I'm off the record and I'm working on that daily transcript. By the way, I've been sending my Scopus sections of the transcript all the way through. So she's actually working on that when I'm on the record, and she's sending me the portions that are done. So another little snapshot of like the 2 extremes of the days. I hope that wets your whistle, as my grandpa used to say, for official work. If you guys didn't get it, I'm a total dork and I love this profession. And I love that Teresa and Alyssa and Lucy and I were able to come and talk to you guys. Please reach out. I don't know where he went, but we have one of our students on. I was going to call him out because his mom is my coworker. So he's a court reporting student that's here tonight. I hope he's still here. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, We have another person here who actually attended one of LACRA's A to Z programs, who is now a court reporting student, and I wanted to call her out too. So I'm so sorry I didn't. I'm gonna get her name. Carla Gregory, if you're still here, love seeing your face for a quick second. You guys reach out and tell your friends about A to Z and Project Steno. We seriously have like the most incredible profession that feels like hardly anybody ever knows about. So, okay, that was a lot. Thanks, Priscilla.
Thank you. It was great. Good job. So I want to thank all the students who attended. And again, we threw this together last minute. So I really need to thank our speakers, especially, and our chat monitor, Diana, because, you know, it was tricky, but we made it happen. We brought this together for you to make up for the 100% capacity of the last group. But please reach out. There's our emails. Any questions at all, we want to help. That's what we're here for. That's why we're here. And yeah, I mean, we're all done, but if any of the other reporters have anything to say, we'll say goodbye, anything at all, feel free. And thank you, students, for attending. But I think that's all. I'm done for now, unless anybody else has. You have anything, Teresa? Alyssa, go ahead. I see you.
Oh, no, I was just going to say thank you. Nice to see you, Priscilla.
Thank you. Nice seeing you. Thank you again.
I'll text you later.
Diane's waving. Teresa's waving.
Good luck to all the students. Thank you for coming.
Yep, we're here to motivate you guys. So thank you.